Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Jason Redulla. I'm an acting supervisor within the Division of Conservation and Resources Enforcement. We are the state of Hawaii's game wardens, park rangers, forest rangers, game wardens, and police officer all rolled into one. Today, in keeping with the theme of this presentation, I'm going to talk to you about a case that I call the Pupukea Marine Life Conservation District and the DV case. Now, just a little background. Prior to coming to DOCARE, I worked as a deputy sheriff here in downtown Honolulu. And prior to that, I was a military policeman in the Air Force. This particular case was one of the first large-scale cases that I have ever handled as a conservation officer. In fact, my supervisor told me straight, you're going to handle this cradle to the grave. Take it as far as you can. First, a disclaimer. What you're going to hear in this case has already been adjudicated, therefore, everything is public information. The pictures in this presentation are not those of the actual defendant or his associates. So if you happen to see your uncle in here, it's purely coincidental. Any resemblance is purely coincidental, and this is purely for informational purposes. This presentation, I'm not going to disclose to you any of the very specific investigative techniques we used. I don't want to get into that because it's not appropriate to the audience. However, for those of you who are the cops in the room, take the next 20 minutes off. I'm not going to be telling you anything you don't already know. But for those of you who are not cops, I think you're going to find this interesting. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Pupukea Marine Life Conservation District. I'm going to show you what it is on the map. I'm going to tell you how it all started, the plan we worked out, and going into the ending part of the case where we went into a search warrant and it actually got prosecuted, and finally what we did towards asset forfeiture. This is the Pupukea Marine Life Conservation District sign. Just a little bit about the Pupukea Marine Life Conservation District. It's located on Oahu's North Shore, the north side of this island. You might all be very familiar with it. This is where Banzai Pipeline, Sunset Beach, all of the big waves roll in the wintertime. Pupukea Marine Life Conservation District is right in the middle of that. And so it's a very high traffic area, and a lot of people like to go out there. So tomorrow morning, for those of you who are going to travel out there, you're going to see the very large amount of traffic that goes out there on the weekends. Several years ago, the state designated this as a Marine Life Conservation District. In the state of Hawaii, we have several different types of marine protected areas. A Marine Life Conservation District is one of them, and it has very specific regulations and penalties that go along with those rules. Among them is fishing equipment and methods. They are regulated at Pupukea NOCD. And the take of marine resources are also regulated and limited to only certain species at certain times of the year. This is kind of what it looks like on the map. The actual incident that I'm going to describe to you occurred at that place called Three Tables, which is a little beach area just past Waimea Bay. These are what typical Marine Life Conservation District warning signs look like. And these signs are very important to this case. Important because what they do is they provide a very public and therefore very reasonable warning that people should know what is permitted and what is prohibited in this area. And this is to discount the argument down the line that the violator didn't know. Okay, so this helps to dissuade that argument. This is how it all started. Believe it or not, a concerned citizen walked up to me one morning while I was sitting in my car at a small boat harbor, and she said, "Hey officer, can I talk to you?" And in interviewing this nice lady, first thing she told me is, "I don't want to give you my name, but I do want to tell you what I've seen." And she was very highly concerned about some poaching activities that she had saw occurring within this Marine Life Conservation District. And she provided very specific descriptions and provided very specific information relating to the suspect and the way he operated. And so some of the information she gave me was a profile. The guy was a male. He was 50 years old. He was unemployed. He was homeless. But he was also selling fish that he caught. Now, this is important because when the economy goes bad, people turn to the resources to sustain them. And this guy was not only turning to the resources to put food on his plate, he was turning to the resources in order to make money. He was selling his fish. So, this is a little bit more on the information. Our suspect, DV, uses an illegal throw net, and it's undersized. Here in the state of Hawaii, we have a regulation that says if you're going to use a throw net, the stretch measure of that net has to be at least 2 inches. He's operating within the Marine Life Conservation District, and here in that MLCD, the use of the net is illegal. He also drives a brown Chevy Trailblazer. Now, we looked at this information and I said, oh, this lady gave me good information, very specific. I went to my supervisor and I said, hey boss, this is what the lady's saying. Well, like President Reagan said, trust but verify, okay? Information that comes in, we like it. We love information. It helps us out. But we also want to assess the validity of that information. So, as luck would have it, right around the same time this lady gave me the information, we started receiving numerous complaints about a person matching the description, operating in this area, conducting illegal fishing activity. So there was corroboration and validity to what this lady was telling me. So the first thing the boss told me was come up with a plan. So, the plan centered around a couple of key things. First, surveillance. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever done surveillance before, but I'm going to tell you straight. You see in the movies and the TV, guys sitting in the car with binoculars, and things happen real fast, and they catch the perp in the act. I'm going to tell you right now, there's nothing worse than sitting in a car for 12 hours, where plastic bottles are your best friend, and nothing happens. Okay, so, when we talk surveillance, okay, you gotta have a plan, you gotta do some homework, okay? I'm not gonna go into the specifics, but you wanna try to narrow it down to when you think the act is gonna go down. We had to do surveillance because we needed to build probable cause. We needed to catch the guy in the act. And then we needed to contact him and do that safely and take an enforcement action, whether that's arrest or a citation. And then later on down the line, because we knew that his vehicle was allegedly used as a base of his operations, we wanted to deprive him of using that vehicle to further his criminal act. And that's why we needed to do a search warrant and do asset forfeiture on that vehicle. So that was the plan that I came up with, and my supervisor said, run with the ball. So we did surveillance, and the first thing was finding the car. And so we established vantage points. Now, I'm going to tell you guys again, it sucks to stay out in the bushes for 12 hours in mosquito-abundant areas looking for stuff. So you want to do your homework and you want to establish good vantage points. The other thing we had to do is look for counter surveillance. Some of the information that was provided to us indicated